from Local IQ Magazine, the art and culture contributor, Siobhan Otero. Siobhan, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Fantastic.
Good. I have to tell you guys, I went out this past weekend to see some friends play Low Spirits, and the DJ was sampling our intro.
Oh, really?
Woohoo, you know.
No kidding.
It was pretty funny. I thought of you
That's
guys.
great. You felt like you were on the show, didn't
I know.
you?
It was a lot
Wait
of
a
place.
second.
Yeah, it was pretty
Fantastic.
funny. It's pretty catchy, right?
Yeah, it is. It is.
So you guys
We've
ready?
got a special thing today, but you have some announcements first, right?
Yeah, so upcoming art events. This Monday at the Indian Pueblo Cultural Center, artist Michael Naranjo will be talking about his inner vision, the life and work of Michael Naranjo. And he has an amazing story. He was born in Santa Clara, Pueblo. He comes from a family of distinguished artists, but in the Vietnam War, he was hit by a hand grenade, lost his vision, and his right hand was severely injured. So, you know, you would think as an artist and a sculptor, these are two critical things, but
Yes.
he persevered with the help of his wife, Lori, and has reached international acclaim. Some of his admirers include Bill Clinton and Pope John Paul II, and he lives right here in New Mexico. So his sculptures are really amazing. You can see them around Albuquerque, and when you look at them, you just see his inner vision. And his story is really inspiring. So that's this Monday from 11 to 1. Members are free, and tickets range up to $6. And with us today, we have Katya Crawford, who is a landscape architect, graphic designer, assistant professor at UNM's School of Architecture, Planning, and Landscape Architecture. Not to mention, she has a black belt in Taekwondo.
Ooh, don't mess with her.
So watch
Katya,
out.
welcome. Good to see you.
Thank you. I'm thrilled to be here.
Good. This TV thing is new, isn't it?
It's
Yeah.
brand new.
Yeah.
I mean, TV, no, but me on TV, very
Being on
new.
TV, it is. Well, and Katya just participated in a wonderful thing in France. You want to describe
Yeah,
that?
Katya gets to travel the world with her landscape architecture. You were a visiting professor at the Royal Melbourne Institute of Technology in Australia. And recently, you and your colleagues, Susan Fry and Veri Simons, entered a competition for the 2012 Chaumont-sur-Loire
International
Garden Festival, and you were one of the winning designs with over 300 submissions, right, with the
That's
foxes in the
correct.
garden.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank
That's
you.
amazing.
It was really thrilling. It was kind of like a dream come true.
Yeah, international. Wow.
And in France, no less.
Yes.
So let's see what you created, and then we'll talk about it a little bit. We have some other images, but here is the here's the foxes in the garden that you created. This is stunningly beautiful.
Thank
So there
you.
was criteria to, you know, the competition, right? You had 10 days, 11,000 euro. It had to look good by April 24th, and this place withstands 4,000 visitors per day until October.
That's right. And the garden plot is kind of like there are these plots on the property, and they're shaped sort of like a shield, and so the hedge exists. And then you have to come up with a design inside the hedge.
I love it. I think it's beautiful.
Thank you.
And we can run some images as we're speaking about this. So you and your team, what was the inspiration behind it?
Well, each competition has a theme, and this one was Gardens of Delirium, Gardens of Delight. And it had the precedents that they gave were sort of dark, like Hieronymus Bosch and the Alice in Wonderland and things. And we came to the idea really quickly about the foxes, because the fox, like globally, has kind of captures the imagination in folklore as being a trickster or even a shapeshifter. And so we knew we wanted to use the fox almost immediately. And because the shape of the garden was so weird, we thought, why not have it like unfold like a story does, like a narrative? So we have this path that kind of hides the view with the screens of the garden in the front, and then you move through in the kind of forested area with a throne. You can sit on the throne and become like the queen or king of the forest with the foxes. And you know, that was our interpretation, but everyone has their own sort of experience. But I got to see it with kids running through it, and they were having a ball. So that was really cool.
What was this experience like? I mean, doing this competition in a foreign country.
It was a short answer, it was a dream come true. And in France, I mean, it was incredibly beautiful. There's historic chateau on the property. It's filled with public art from famous artists all over the place. You're working with international designers. You're being fed like kings and queens and staying in the most amazing place ever. I kept thinking, is this really happening? Is this really real?
Wow.
It was extraordinary.
You obviously get to use different plants than you would here at home. I see ferns, which don't grow in my yard. I don't know about yours. But,
no. Plastic ones do really well
yeah,
here.
they do. But you
get
really had
dusty,
to
though.
adapt to the climate and the soil and everything else. And you had water feature there too, so.
Right, and that was a little bit tricky. But the ferns, I think were like the one plant that was sort of like a big thing for us. But we had lamb's ears and morning glories and jasmine and a lot of stuff that actually does grow here as well. Just grows a lot easier there because it rains.
So what was probably the most challenging part of doing this?
The most challenging part was ordering materials in France when you're here and don't speak French.
Yeah.
And also sort of being there, the communication. My boyfriend, who was on the team that we took over to construct, he speaks a little bit of French, which was great.
Oh, good.
And Sue's husband, Lee Gamalski, is incredibly gregarious and has no problem pantomiming. So we were able to get materials and things that way. But there were some communication issues for sure. And just picking out materials. I mean, we're very used to going to Lowe's or Home Depot, which is like the size of that entire town. So there they have little tiny construction, stores that you would go to and order, pay. It was a long process.
Do you look at landscape architecture as an art form?
Absolutely, absolutely. An art form that has the potential to change the world.
I like that.
Yeah.
Because, and we're going to run a couple more pictures of this, but you installed this, participated, left France, and then you went back to see it again. Is that right?
I did. I went back with my parents, and we were only there for a day at the chateau, but it was incredible to see it in bloom. I was so nervous, like I was going on a date or something, And I arrive at the garden, and this like huge sense of relief just kind of came over me that it was up, that it was blooming, that it looked better than when we left it. So it was really thrilling.
Look at that's the chateau.
Wow. Yeah, that's the
Look at
setting.
that.
We got to look at that every day, and that's the garden before. We were there. It was really miserable weather most of the time. And that's, constructing the pond, and we put in the trees. And I mean, the site was basically a blank slate of mud when we got there.
Now, did you have to use local people to help you build this? Is that what?
No, we went over with, Sue and I went over. Marie wasn't able to come. She was about to have a baby with 3 people, my boyfriend Jay, Lee Gamalski, who's Sue's husband, and our friend Nick Sherlocker. And various people would pop in and we'd put them to work. We had 19 students come by to see our project, and we said, hey, don't you, each one of you want to plant a tree?
Yeah,
and
sure you do.
And they did, and they were fantastic. So we had little bits of help here and there.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So how has this experience influenced you now in your work in New Mexico?
One of the kind of major things is that I was thinking, we had 10 days and a very short amount of time to do this garden, and I'm thinking we're going to have to work 16 hours a day to get this done. And the French don't operate like that. It was very refreshing.
Yeah.
Like we started it at 9, ended at 5, and had a 2-hour dinner. I had a lunch break with wine. And, and we actually managed to get it done. And so it really changed the way that I want to work in terms of quality of life, because my normal work week seems to be about 70 hours a week. But also it allowed us to test our design process that we teach with the students. We're always teaching these processes, and to actually test it on ourselves and realize it. And I have a really strong belief in the power of art and landscape and the learning possibilities when you actually build the designs that you create. So those are the major things.
Well, that's beautiful, especially the lunch with wine party.
Yeah.
The French
That
really
was pretty
embrace
great.
life.
Can we
Yeah,
live like
absolutely.
that?
They do. They
We
have
met
a
so many
different,
amazing people. It was
Yeah,
incredible.
they just have a different attitude about the way that you should live.
Right.
So fantastic. Well, I'm delighted to meet you, and Siobhan, thank you for bringing
Sure,
Katya here.
thank you.
Congratulations
Thank you, Katya.
on that beautiful. Now, is it going to stay there, or is it go down?
No, it's already down. It came down in October, and there's a whole new group.
All new group going in.
Yeah.
Great to meet
Exactly.
you, Katya. Thank you for joining
Thank
us
you.
here on the
Lovely
couch.
to meet you.